CIA proprietary organization in the Miami area. At a designated time, that duplicate will be substituted for the actual civil aircraft and would be loaded with the selected passengers, all boarded under carefully prepared aliases. The actual registered aircraft would be converted to a drone. Takeoff times of the drone aircraft and the actual aircraft would be scheduled to allow a rendezvous south of Florida. From the rendezvous point, the passenger-carrying aircraft will descend to minimum altitude and go directly into an auxiliary field at Eglin Air Force Base, where arrangements will have been made to evacuate the passengers and return the aircraft to its original status. What happens to those passengers is not clear. The drone aircraft, meanwhile, will continue to fly the filed flight plan. When over Cuba, the drone would be transmitting on the international distress frequency a Mayday message stating it is under attack by Cuban MiG aircraft. The transmission will be interrupted by the destruction of the aircraft, which would be triggered by a radio signal. Since also Flight American 77 disappeared from the radar screens before reappearing in the Pentagon area, could something similar have happened with the plane that hit the Pentagon as well? The American military elite seems to respond to the recurring need of waging wars of conquest, both to increase the control on worldwide resources and to maintain a healthy and productive war industry that is among the most profitable altogether. It only makes sense that also the tanks, the submarines, and the military planes that are produced every day must be put to use within a certain amount of time, just like any other industrial product we consume. This is a military planes graveyard located near Tucson, Arizona. Most of these machines are still in good shape, but they are put away and slowly dismantled as they become obsolete. President Eisenhower, himself a former general, was among the first ones to foresee the danger that a permanent military industry could represent for his country.
I get tired of saying that defense is to be made an excuse for wasting dollars. I don't believe we should pay 1 cent for defense more than we have to.
Before he left office in 1961, he gave a memorable speech that today appears as a lucid prophecy.
This conjunction of an immense military establishment and a large arms industry is new in the American experience. In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes.
Eisenhower's prophecy, unfortunately, became true.
The rush of battle. The glory of victory. The birth of heroes. These are the movies that brought the front lines to the front row. Every Saturday night, the Military Channel brings you the films that went beyond the battlefield and showed you war like...
Fed by a culture of war, which has even created its own television channel called the Military Channel.
On the Military Channel.
The arms industry is enjoying one of the most productive and rewarding times thanks to the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq. In the meantime, the Pentagon's budget has risen to over $400 billion per year. That's more than 4 times the amount that the neoconservatives ever dared to dream in the year 2000. To maintain the Bush administration war doctrine, massive increases in military spending have been required. The United States now spends more than $400 billion annually on the military, 7 times as much as the next biggest spender, and nearly equal to what the rest of the world spends combined. Obviously, the large corporations like Boeing, Lockheed, or Raytheon produce weapons not only for the United States, but also for the rest of the world.
It is an incredible thing that we arm the world and then turn around and come to Congress and say, look at all these weapons out there. They're almost superior to ours. They're comparable to ours. Well, of course they are. They're ours. We sold them to them.
It takes mobility to win the day. Our forces need to be fast and agile.
The Hellfire 2 missile system defeats advanced armor by semi-active laser guidance. And
such a system is Skyguard, a high-energy laser shield against short-range rockets.
Hellfire 2 is the weapon of choice on Apache, Super Cobra, SH-60, and HH-60 helicopters.
Part of a system delivering unprecedented levels of assured networked interconnectivity.
Airborne laser is making impressive progress on its way to demonstrating the lethality of a megawatt-class directed energy weapon system. Skyguard is designed to stop the conventional man-pad.
Advanced EHF's phased arrays also deliver a new super agile, providing a 12-fold increase in cross-link data
In the case of a ground-to-air attack, sensors detect the missile's launch and the fire unit slews to acquire. This technology has addressed the deadly Katyusha rocket, a weapon favored by terrorists. This is the muzzle of this powerful laser system to protect mobile forces as well as high-value assets. Multiple kills are readily handled, all at the speed of light, and providing force protection when and where it is needed.
Since the end of the Cold War, we've sold more military weapons than the rest of the world combined.
My name is Jack Shanahan, Vice Admiral, U.S. Navy, retired. One of our nuclear bombs blows up Hiroshima 15 times over. 5 devastates Russia. After that, this is how many the U.S. has left.
Another important element that contributes to the recurring need for America to extend its reach beyond the national borders is definitely oil. At the end of World War II, the U.S. found itself as the only country whose territory had not been damaged directly by the war. While Germany, Italy, and Japan, but also Russia, France, and England, began the slow path to reconstruction, the U.S. could launch straight into an era of development and industrial growth that would put them ahead of the world until the current times. Thus began the quest for the so-called American dream, a dream made of wealth, comfort, and well-being that still plays a major role in modern American culture.
So we can have things with new beauty, longer life, and low maintenance costs. Improvements we can afford because they are economically produced, and that can be bought by more and more people for less money than they ever cost.
The concept of freedom, for which so many men had given their lives in the war against the Nazis, was slowly transformed and downsized to the concept of freedom of choice in personal shopping.
Also the basic freedom of the American people, which is the freedom of individual choice. Our abundance is big and comes from bigness. The bigness of our busy business. The bigness of our fields. The bigness of our fast-moving, modern America. Our bigness, our greatness, the abundance that stems from liberty is based on free and thrifty use of the great American penny, the foundation of our wealth. Enough new pennies coming from our mints each month